last series, and we're about to get to see it again here. We got number 17 Purdue Gold going up against number 15 SIUE Red, and I mean both of these teams have looked fantastic. Purdue Gold coming into this one, they are 10-1. SIUE Red coming in at 9-1. So I mean, very respectable records on both sides.
Yeah, and if you look up top, we are not going to have raid for all 3 maps to start this one out, Cruz. It is, in fact, going to be checkmate where we start this series off for a nice hard point in the plain armory, and then we're going to go over to raid S&D, so continue on that raid grind. Everybody loves a good raid S&D, and then that third map, that swing control map, is going to be garrison control. Looking at the defender side for that map is the SMG is going to be Rain and Terror over there, and the tanks of Germany. Moscow hardpoint for map 4 if it goes the distance. And if it goes all the way to a game 5, we're going to end this off on Garrison S&D. So this is actually interesting because this might be the last time I get to cast Garrison S&D, Cruz.
Fingers crossed this is the last time I get to cast Garrison S&D. I'm so happy that map's get it out of here.
If we do get to cast it, if it goes to a game 5.
It's going game 5.
Like we're going to be hoping for that game 5. These two teams as close as ever, but really it's going to come down to the nitty gritty of it. And if these teams have what it takes to battle against each other.
And yeah, I mean, if we start looking in towards this one a little bit here, checkmate hardpoint. It's really good map for both of these teams as well. Purdue Gold coming into this one 3-1 on checkmate hardpoint. SIUE Red coming in at a very respectable 3-0 as well. So both of these teams definitely practice on it. They know exactly what they got to do to be able to pull this map off.
And I'm really looking at it, you know, Purdue Gold sticking their hard points, definitely their best of the series, you know, 93% win rate on hard points. So looking to come out and win out on this map number 1 for checkmate hardpoint, because you're looking at search and destroy, and that's not the same story. SIUE is their best is going to be search and destroy, where they got a 90% win rate. So you're looking at that. If it does go the distance, SIUE Red might be the better team for a game 5. But raid search and destroy is really going to tell if that tale is true. I need, like, when we're looking at the storyline to build, that game 1 is going to be so crucial for Purdue Gold because SIUE Red just looks so much more significant in that search and destroy game mode.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like Purdue, they're going to need to come out. They need to win this first hard point. I think it's going to be a very telling tale for this series, especially because they're playing back to back here. They want to start off hot for their entire day.
100%. I mean, like this is also something that you might not want to go to a game 5 if you're Purdue Gold. You got a double header for the night on stream. So that, like, go into a game 5, there's only so much gas that these players have to like in their tanks, especially it being in the limelight for the CCL. And if you're Purdue Gold, you might not want to go the distance. If you lose out in this series, it's going to kind of have a damper in your game against Illini Orange Next. And that's a team that you're looking at who's exactly even with you. I mean, in split 2, Purdue Gold undefeated so far, but so is Illini Orange. And SIUE Red, they're not too far behind. They win out and they win this game against Purdue Gold. They're right back into the standings, you know, right up alongside that playoff spot. So it's going to be interesting. Now, what are we looking at in this checkmate hardpoint?
I mean, once, like you said, I think we're looking for Purdue Gold to come out hot here, and it sounds like we're loading on in right now. As we all know, checkmate hardpoint, it's going to be all about that top lane control, especially right off the bat. It's going to be Purdue Gold here, starting off in the yellow. SIUE are going to be in the white, and this should be a banger of a hardpoint.
100%. That's it for point 1. Benji on your screen. Tragic, a player that I'm highlighting is Heavy Slayer, along with a 3.0 S&D KD. He's going to hope to come out big to help Purdue Gold in this series. But split right now as SIUE do finally break control, getting some time of their own right now. They are in favor of 0.2 spawns as well. So if you're SIUE Red, you're really looking to hold on to these favorable spawns.
And yeah, if you're SIUE, you don't want to push them too far out of this. You just want to contest this time for as much as you can and just try to hold on to these spawns in the back. They're doing a great job of that so far. They're going to continue to spawn up on this right-hand side of the mini-map. These last 13 seconds or so probably going to go the way of Purdue Gold. So, I mean, Purdue Gold, if they can get a break here off the bat, the fact that they found 40 seconds on this first hill is great for them. If they can get a break here, it's going to be absolutely nuts.
And look, they're going to be flooding out the back of the plane. Number 8 is going to be the first one up. Big stand for Mythic. Finally cut down though by Sauce. Now a big back off is Purdue Gold taking the space from SIUE, winning the frontline battle, and even taking control of the spot, wiping SIUE Red off of this hardpoint, bullying their way in. Mythic gonna have to stand tall, and he does with the shot punch. Benji, the second one up. Mythic for the slide, has the help, and SIUE Red do stay strong in this point too, but they had a rough start, and it's not gonna give them the tie game that they were hoping for.
So where that push was coming in from, SIUE was actually pushing through the middle of the map, and what that caused was both teams to spawn out towards different tops and the bottom side spawns of the minimap, and they both push on through. Now you're seeing a much different spawn point come on in from Purdue Gold here, as they're able to push on in and get these last 15 seconds here. But I mean, if you're SIUE, yeah, I mean, if you're SIUE, I feel like you'll take that, right? Every day of the week, because now you can set up towards this middle of the map. Tragic gonna be the first player here for Purdue Gold. Like you said, I'm not really sure if that's what you wanted if you're a Purdue Gold fan.
I mean, if you're a Purdue Gold fan, you're just kind of guaranteeing that they're going to bully their way on back, and they're doing exactly that. A few kills go back to SIUE, some key one-on-ones. Benji's still alive, the last one for Purdue to keep SIUE off this hard point, and he's going to do exactly that. Finds Plasmid from the back. Be locking down some time for Purdue, and I mean, they might not have gotten the favorable spawns for 0.4, 0.5, but they are absolutely keeping SIUE off this hard point.
Yeah, seeing a much more normal P3 here that you would normally see underneath the plane, especially come start of the year. You're starting to see teams learn how to play it a lot better right now, like you were saying in our last series, where teams are starting to figure out how to play that 0.3, get a lot more hill time on it, and a lot scrappier of one in this game for sure.
Yeah, but now you're moving over to 0.4. And another scrappy hill, but another one where you can lock down for sure if you have that top plane control. Right now, Purdue Gold in control of the hard point and some gunfights over to the middle of the map. Mythic can have a big one-on-one to break it open, but not successful on the other side of the map. So we're looking at Vanish Tom here. Hasn't had any gunfights as his team's just been winning everything around him. Finally breaks on through some key ones for SIUE. They're only down by 40 right now, and they're finally going to break on in. Sauce going to try to make some trouble, but a double peek. And Purdue Gold lose this one out, and SIUE hoping to get some time here.
Yeah, Purdue had a pretty good setup, and unfortunately for them, SIUE just had a fantastic break there onto that hill, and now SIUE look to just try to hold on to as much time as they can get here and continue to hold on to this side of the map so that they can try to push from this hill and try to get down towards the next hill. Player number 8 is going to have so much to do. That's Mythic. He's able to find a 2-piece on the plane, though, so that should all but guarantee early time here for the side of SIUE Red on P5.
And this early rotation, it's going to be big for SIUE Red. They found the rotations 3 hard points in a row, but they're still falling behind from Purdue. Now, Mythic's going to be the first one on. Has a 74U. I have him noted here as he's a big player for the respawns, double positive in these game modes, and holding a 116-second average hill time. So playing that OBJ role, hasn't done too much in this game, but is 12-7 doing the slaying for SIUE. And nobody touching down for Purdue just yet. We're about halfway through this 5th hard point. And just breaking through to the front. Kills going in their favor, but now it's time to step on and contest it as Vanish Tom's going to be here. Mythic for the front line, but the trade is good and Purdue break.
I was about to say, SIUE are going to finally flip the lead out, and they get their first lead of this game here, but Purdue Gold should realistically be able to pick up these last 15 seconds. I mean, if you're SIUE, you just got a free basically 40 seconds off the start of that, and now what you should be putting your full focus to is just holding on towards the next hill. But unfortunately for them, they all push in maybe a little bit too far there, and now you've got Sauce pushing up through the flank, and it's going to be early time. They string P5 to P1 so beautifully there for Purdue Gold.
Yeah, now Purdue Gold in favor of those 0.2 spawns that everybody hopes to secure right off the bat, and looking at if they can hold it for the rest of this time. I don't know if you remember, but first rotation around, they found 40 points on this hard point. They do the exact same. They're going to have, 170 points in their bank, and that's going to be tough for SIUE to kind of break through. They have to look to break these spawns. They have done so. So now they're looking at these 0.2, big hill where they did start to climb on back. Off-screen Sauce wins a one-on-one. Mythic's still holding on. Let's see how that impacts the spawns. They did flip the spawns here, Cruz.
Yep, Spawn's going to get flipped out here, so Purdue Gold now in a different position they were in the first rotation. Yes, they gained 40 seconds on that first rotation, but they lost quite a bit of time on this piece of the hill. Now they're going to have all their players set up here, minus Tragic, who actually spawns out quite deep. 2 players for them actually are going to spawn out deep, so this is actually a really good chance now for SIUE Red to just try to push on in through this plane, but it's Sauce. He's up to the test. He's able to grab one, and if he can push over and get this early time here, it should go towards the way of SIUE.
Yeah, but you didn't really anticipate that split spawn. And SIUE, they get caught from behind. Purdue Gold, everybody that dies in that gunfight interaction, they spawn all the way on 0.2. Now, with the favorable spawns, locking it down. Last time they were fighting from the front. This time they're pretty comfortable here. One player gets in the back. Sauce, I don't know if he was ready for it. I don't know if he got caught, but his team is there to clean it up for him. Doing a great job at slaying out these lanes. Already 30 seconds out of this hard point, and Purdue Gold has soaked up almost every second of it. Big win from Plasmid, but Tragic's there for the trade. And a little bit more on the Buzz to slow down this attack for the retake. Purdue Gold on fire right now.
And Tragic got some streaks as well, so I mean, this is looking very, very good for the side of Purdue Gold. This one of the harder maps to use streaks on, but if you can use your streaks effectively on this map to break open some of these hills, it can absolutely be tragic for a team trying to make a comeback like SIUE Red is continuing to try to do at the moment. They are right now in control of this bottom plane, but we saw through the first set of rotations that this can be a very, very scrappy hill. But so far, so good for SIUE Red.
Down by 60. You have to string together a hard point to bring yourself back in this if you're SIUE. Luckily, you had great succession from point 4 to point 5. And on the brink of that hard point set, Benji doing some trouble here, keeping it contested. On point 3, the rest of the team here, the Cavalry's in turn, Shrieks are on board, and gonna be looking for some spawn kills. What can he find with this? Nothing at all. Not even information. I don't even think he saw it, but they should understand that the point 2 spawns are here for Purdue Gold. They're gonna be setting up this line of scrimmage to trap them back here. A big flurry, though, for SIUE as they are fighting out of their spawn, getting some big one-on-ones. And honestly, this is where you talked about this point 3 being contested. They haven't contested it at all. And Purdue Gold, they're on that 213-second mark.
No, but this would be a great point to have a cruise missile to drop on into the map, but unfortunately not going to be the case for Purdue Gold, as SIUE has a full setup here on P4, and honestly, they're looking quite good. It does sound like the next streak is starting to come on in now. Let's see if it's nothing. The artillery also finds nothing as well, so I mean, very poor streak usage for Purdue Gold. The fact they're up so big in this map right now is good, but that streak usage is not something you want to see.
I don't even think you're worried about the streak usage here because your guns are on fire. So still 30 seconds. Nobody occupying the hard point. Mythic dancing around underneath the plane. Benji's going to be here, wins that gunfight. 3 go down for Purdue, and take a look at the spawns. Purdue, they spawn all the way P2. Now, this is a great opportunity for SIUE to kind of root themselves and cement these P5 spawns. If Mythic wins that gunfight, it would be just a knife in the back. But they do have this, and last time around, you remember SIUE found 40 seconds right away here.
And it looks very similar to their setup in the first round. They were able to win a couple of big gunfights here. See if they're able to do it again. It's Mythic, who has the cross watch from underneath the plane. He's able to grab 2, but spawns are going to flip. Purdue Gold is going to spawn in the back on the favored side. But, I mean, if Purdue Gold plays this right, they can still try to hold them out from this side.
Tragic and Benji are shooting the way they're shooting. They can still win off this hard point, no problem. As now the tides have flipped a little bit. You do wipe the player plane, you have to touch down on this point. It's literally, there's no option other than to contest this hard point. Plasmid on the plate. D-Day working in the back line. Purdue lost beautifully, but in the scrimmage, just 2 seconds left. Purdue Gold are going to find this first map, and a very comfortable 0.5 once they broke that. Not too much to deal with, just successfully slaying out on the front line. Don't worry about the flank. D-Day getting some kills, but not really impactful kills. And that's how it felt a lot of the time for the slaying style of SIUE Red. They were getting kills, they were slaying out, but there weren't.
It just felt like they were not in. It just felt like they weren't winning the trades, if that makes sense. It just felt like Purdue Gold at the end of every trade that they were coming out just on top. Very weak streak usage, though. That's something that, as a top 25 team, especially, I would like to see a lot better of coming from them. But nonetheless, they are able to get the job done there. I mean, if you're SIUE Red, you're just hoping that maybe that's one of our weaker maps. Again, they were still able to get 191 seconds on it. They looked really strong through the second half of that map, like of the second half of the rotations. But through the first half, it looked like it was all Purdue through both sets of rotations.
And now you're heading into the search and destroy, where SIUE Red are a little bit more comfortable, sitting there with a 90% win rate on this game mode. But if Purdue Gold sneaks this one away, SIUE Red are in a hell of a lot of trouble. This is must win for SIUE Red.
Yeah, absolutely. This is like you said, one of the modes that they are best in, 90% win rate. So you would expect them to come out here and really put up a good fight against Purdue Gold.
And we're looking at Raid S&D too, and kind of looking back on that game from our first match today, E4 Knights versus Bama. And Bama, another team that we're talking about, really good in S&D, but E4 Knights making those mid-round adjustments. SIUE Red, what do you want to see from them to bounce back early?
I mean, we got to see what we didn't see in that first series. You need to be able to make up all of that mid map, get control of it, try to make sure you can push out either way on offense. What we saw a lot of in our first series was just a whole lot of just single-handed pushing towards one side of the map and just trying to bully your way onto site. And I mean, sure, it worked for the side of the E4 Knights, but it does not work all the time. If you're able to set up a strong defense, it's very, very tough to break onto some of these hills.
And I'm really looking at players like Tragic here to stand out in this search and destroy for Purdue Gold. I mean, he's got a 3.0 KD in search. And if he can put his team on his back, they might be able to do some damage to SIUE Red. But in turn, he can't be the only one doing anything here. I mean, you have to look for those players that aren't as good in search and destroy to step up. I know Vanish Thomas, strong leader, so I'm sure he's noticing that this isn't our best game mode. We're going to slow this down, just kind of play to our strong suit and just look for those first bloods and work off of them. So I expect Purdue Gold to not just kind of like throw this one away, and they're going to make it tough. But SIUE Red, if they come along, they might be they're hoping to kind of bounce back on this one and bounce back fast.
And as we continue to look in towards this search and destroy here on Raid, Purdue Gold are coming into this Raid search and destroy 3-0. SIUE Red 2-0. So both teams have played it. Both teams are yet to lose on it. So we're going to see very kind of what we've seen in that first map. Both teams that are very good on a map, and it's really going to come down to whatever team is able to win either their gunfights or just honestly out strategize the other team. Because as we've seen in our first series as well, those mid round adjustments and mid game adjustments are so important on a map like Raid.
And as we see in a map like Raid, like I was touching on that when we were heading into Moscow, Raid's not really like OBJ heavy. Yeah, you get those bomb downs in the late rounds, but a lot of the time it is going to the eliminations, and a lot of time they are playing for the trade. So in Raid S&D, you look across the board for SIUE on their roster, every single player in the lobby has over a 2 KD. So playing for those elims, playing for the trades, and honestly looking very comfortable as a team in search and destroy. So where you're looking at Tragic on one end to kind of pop off when you're on SIUE's roster, every single player has the opportunity to stay consistent and pop off in that notable situation. So SIUE Red, they have to work as a core forward, and the consistency stays there.
Yeah, it really feels like coming into this series that Purdue Gold is going to need to win their respawns, and the side of SIUE Red is going to need to win their search and destroys and that control. Like we always say, it's going to be very much so a swing map, and we are loading into the game now. It's going to be Raid, search and destroy, starting off with Plasmid here, just trying to watch over towards that A site underneath the bedroom. And it looks right now like he's kind of just a player who's baiting out over there. First blood going to go to Sauce. But the bomb is moving towards the B side, but a very quick flank coming in from player number 6. We'll see if he can spot anybody out.
Alrighty. A trade. Even up. Benji makes his way on the field. Plasmid goes down, but once again, back and forth now. Unfortunately, Buzz goes down in Mythic. His position's known. Trazik's made his way into Zigzag. You get the sights. You have the crossfire. And beautiful play from Purdue Gold to open up, keep their ball going, and win out on this first round.
Yeah, that was a really strange round. Both you get to see from the side of Purdue Gold, they got super aggressive as they try to push on through, and they just get on into the base of SIUE Red, and it's really what shut them down in that first round. Mid map control, round 1 goes to the way of Purdue Gold, and they win the round.
I have to say, SIUE should be watching these routes too. I can't believe that Purdue Gold that early got into the spawn, but they did. Now they're on attack and going for 3 to B, 1 flanking A, and a 2-2 split for these defenders. Mythic right around the corner from Benji. A gunfight on the opposite side of the map. That player on B is down. Now it's time for the go-ahead for the B side. Big slaying power for Purdue Gold. They break it open, and both players that were here for defense go down. The bomb should be down as well soon, and the retake will be a 2-on-3.
Yeah, this is the strength that you get from pushing a 3-on-2. Nobody had mid-map control from either side there. Buzz is trying to make his push on in towards this site. Going to choose to back up through pillars and just make a flank play through with his teammate. They're going to choose to go on a very wide flank here. It's really just going to be Tragic who's up top. And yeah, I mean, if you're the side of Purdue Gold, you haven't seen any of these players yet. We'll see if Tragic gets spotted. He doesn't get spotted out. He's able to get some shots in on Buzz. Sauce, I'm sure, will finish that kill off, so it's going to leave D-Day all by himself here in a 1 versus 2, and that bomb is down. with
No
only
time.
15 seconds.
There's no time here for this. And the positioning, they're just playing so patient. Purdue Gold, well practiced. Not give too much away. DJ gonna throw some shots down. Does find the kill, but that's it. There's not enough time to defuse. Sauce has successfully won this round, even if he goes down. DJ finds this. He's on a 4 streak. Purdue Gold, though, they combine too.
Oh man, you would have loved to see them maybe try to pinch on that a little bit sooner. I think trying to make the full flank play there, yes. If it works out and you find the kills, it could have been beautiful. But I mean, you just really had no information on where any of those players were post plant, so it's so tough to make a big flank play through like that.
And it's as quiet as Tragic wanted. You know, he waits, he spots out Buzz. He doesn't get the kill, but just getting that initial damage shakes up that retake so much and disassembles that pinch that you were talking about. So, I mean, Purdue Gold, like I say, the patience just paying off.
And we're going to start to see them now move this bomb towards the B site. It's going to be a 3-to-1 split. One player going in the middle of the map, and that's D-Day. Tragic is really trying to wallbang him through there and get that kill, but Mythic and D-Day are going to be able to find 2 to open this round up. This should be bomb down, and the first sign of life from SIUE Red in this search and destroy.
They haven't cleared laundry. They haven't cleared it, and Sauce is going to drop this bomb. Now, finally, with Buzz getting in behind, he finds that kill into laundry, leaving Benji all alone. Bomb should be going down. They're going to be planting it here. Buzz is going to take the ego shell, where Benji ready for it, and he's going to make this a 1-on-2. And in this, you look at the separate plays here. 2 individual styles from Plasmid and D-Day. If Benji can isolate it, make it a 1-on-1, this is doable. Plenty of time to make it happen, but they do kind of tighten up their hold one over the other. They locate the information. This should be a round to SIUE Red. They find the kill through the wall, and in fact, they take their first round.
Yeah, you gotta love that post-plant position too. They notice that Benji gets the kill up towards the side of laundry, so both players, after they get the bomb down, instantly just push all the way through the middle of that raid statue and just get on towards art side of the minimap, and it just makes the round so much easier there for the side of Purdue Gold. I mean, if we continue on in this round here, it looks like D-Day, who, like you pointed out, was on a 4 streak at the end of that last round. Even after losing the round, they go on a 4 streak. Now he's on a 6 streak, 1 away from the artillery strike. You'd like to see a player maybe bait out for him here.
Fact. He's going to be standing back basketball court, so it's going to take a while for an interaction to come in front of him. Buzz will be the first line of duty, and another slow round from Purdue Gold here, just kind of shaking up the mental of SIUE, trying to pull some players to the A side. And if they make this quick rotation to B, they could possibly catch it off. Tragic, though, drops down from bedroom. He's going to make his way up mid-stairs, and Mythic spots that one out. They're really trapping Purdue Gold here. If they make this rotation, catch the flank, they might be able to kind of set up a pinch, but Purdue's going to dedicate themselves to the A side. You got some trades back and forth. Bombs dropped in mid. That's a huge kill from Mythic. Now you got to recover the bomb, get it down, and play for the post plants in an even 3-on-3.
And bomb should be going down here shortly. Benji now starting to put it down. Plasmid might be able to spot it out, though. Oh, he's stretching it just perfect enough. But Mythic, with the big flank in from behind, he's able to grab one. I don't think he knows that there's another player to his left here.
Oh, he finally does. Spots out Tragic. And you're not going to win the fight. 2-on-2. Vanish Tom down. D-Day's found himself some streaks, too, so they clear it out. You got streaks to D-Day. You give him this defuse. I'm sure that should be the cruise missile, if I'm not mistaken. We will see it in a few seconds. So a big round from SIUE Red. Not going to get the cruise missile, but has the artillery strike. That's big enough.
Yeah, absolutely. That artillery strike is just straight information as well, right? Like, even if you don't find kills with it in this game, you can use it and spot it where every single player on the other team is. So good news for them. They're able to find that. If he gets the cruise missile here off the bat of this round, which we've seen him play so well, I'm assuming we're going to see him go art again and just trying to make that fight over towards middle of the map, or sorry, towards laundry. That's what we've seen him do a few times now, but it's actually going to be a mid-map hit from him. Just throws a nade, maybe just spotting out, gets away with his life here. But a little bit weird. We see a 2-2 split on offense from the side of SIUE, but Buzz is able to find a first blood.
It does the duty. Let's see if he can find more. What a beam from Buzz. Sauce ripped off that heady. And that's going to call for a rotation for this bomb. You see number 3 making his way around. The 2 players on defense rotating around Kitchen. But Buzz is here playing for this ace. and he does play for his life. They're spotting out Tragic. They know he's gonna go. He's gonna be back gardens. You get this bomb down. Where are they gonna plan it for? They're planning for Laundry, where Buzz is sitting. And I love this setup right now from SIUE Red.
Oh yeah, this is one of those setups where Purdue Gold should honestly be looking at this like, oh man, we probably shouldn't feed any more streaks, and honestly think about jumping off the map here because this is a really, really tough setup to break. If they're able to do it, I'll eat my words, but with only 30 seconds left and how long they're taking to try to clear out Art right now to find these kills, can't find anything. Benji's able to grab one, but I mean, are they gonna have enough time here?
DJ's gonna find the first, gets the cruise missile, so he's still on that streak. 8 kills in his name. Hasn't died since that first death he has found. And with 11 seconds, Tragic gonna walk right into D-Day, keep that streak even higher, up to 9. And Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville, they take their lead.
Man, SIUE, that's a great round from them there. Buzz with the opening of God here. He's able to find 2 big kills. I don't even know how he wins that second one there. Player was not expecting to push out Laundry and find him. Like I said, man, I really wish that those players on Purdue Gold would have just given up that round, because when they die there, and both of them die to D-Day to continue his streak, and now he's going to have full streaks. I feel like if they use their streaks right, this is going to be really, really tough for Purdue Gold to come back in this game.
Big mid hit, though, for the bomb. Off screen, Benji finds the first blood. They're going to absolutely collapse on this. I don't even think SIUE Red was ready for this aggression, because 3 players go down, and that's going to be the bomb in turn. D-Day transitions for 1. He's on a 10 spree right now, but I mean, he's got a 1v3 to make happen. VT is going to cross it. To Vanish Tom closes this round, shuts down that streak, and right back into it with a tie 3-3. We're at the halftime.
Yeah, we are tied up 3-3 right now, but I mean, again, in the back of our minds, we do have to keep thinking about those streaks that could come in at any time here. And like we say, if streaks are used correctly, it should almost guarantee you a round win at the very least. I would definitely like to see SIUE maybe slow down on a defense, like wait and just make a play with those streaks there. But it wasn't the case. They got very aggressive on that round, and it did not work out in their favor one bit. And it looks like Purdue Gold, after getting a very aggressive mid-map last round, going to do the same this round and see if they can spawn anything out. But Buzz on a huge flank again.
Oh, he does exactly that. 3 players drop in unison. And Vanish Tom, he's shook. He's like, what just happened? He salutes. He says hi. He's like, wow, I cannot believe that. SIUE Red, they must have been talking about that. The invitation was sent and answered with a big round. SIUE Red blast open for their 4th and take back this lead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he really didn't have much of a chance there in that 1v4. He saluted to us. He knew we were on him in the 1v4. So SIUE, man, they didn't even have to invest a streak there, and they're able to pull it off. Now, like I was saying, I would really like to see them slow down a defense here, maybe give up a bomb site, and just use streaks to play for a retake. Just
that would give them match point or map point.
Yeah, so I mean, just maybe full stack of site and just play for it, but looks like they're gonna attempt to just get some mid-map control here. I don't mind this play either, because if they get this bomb down B, you have 2 players who are very close to follow-up streaks.
Benji almost goes down, but staying alive. They give it up. You gotta watch this player in zigzag. Number 8. That is gonna be tragic.
Streaks are gonna get called, right?
He backs on it. Streaks have to be played here. Sauce gonna break on through, but Buzz is gonna take that, and here's the streaks. They're gonna find Tragic, but he hits the roof. So the streaks find nothing. The retake is here. Buzz is diffusing to all 3 players, rotating back around. Are they going to catch it? No, this is going to be a full defuse. He's going to stick it, and that is going to be a big round win for SIUE Red with the score streak. But they're not going to fake the defuse, and they take it to map point.
So I think what the plan with the score streak there was to slow it down and push the side of Purdue off of the bomb and get them into a position where they're less comfortable and not able to check the bomb. And because it was the player Buzz who was middle map and able to push on through to get down and onto the bomb there. I actually really like that play now that I see it come to life. Luckily for them, no bomb check comes in from Purdue. They just weren't close enough, and now leaving SIUE Red here on match point. They still have an artillery. If they're able to get this bomb down, I mean, it could be lights out.
Well, that is tragic. in fact, for Purdue Gold. 2 players down already, almost dropping the bomb player, but Mythic rotates back around, and now a 1-on-4, make it a 1-on-3. Tragic fighting back.
And
If
the
anybody was going to
rotation.
be in this position, you'd want it to be Tragic, but unfortunately for himself, the rotation, like you were saying, comes out, and they rotate back over to the A site. Bomb's going to go down with ease. And look at this post plant. They got a player in Kitchen, a player in Tiki, and a
And
player
DJ.
in Pillars. Nothing to do for Purdue Gold, but lose this round. And this is going to be a tie series now. SIUE Red wins the Search and Destroy, and now we're at 1-1.
D-Day just went 13-2
Wow.
in that game. I mean, unreal stuff coming from him. Just, I mean, what did he eat for breakfast today? Because, I mean, I want to start my day tomorrow with that.
Well, something that I was touching on at the start of this is that SIUE Red in Search and Destroy has the potential for every single player to pop off. It was just D-Day's turn, and they were just like, who wants it this time? And D-Day raises his hand. He's like, it's my turn. You guys did it last week, so he goes off 13-2 streaks, making a big impact. I mean, you were talking about that streak in that round to put them on map point, and zoning them out to take that space, brilliant. And in turn gives them basically all the control for the Search and Destroy.
And I think what's amazing about this map set that we have with these two teams, we're now guaranteed a map 4. This next map coming up is the absolute swing map in this series. You got Purdue Gold. They are much stronger at hardpoint, it seems. You got SIUE Red, who looks like they are much stronger at Search and Destroy. So this control could very well tell the tale for this series.
Well, wrote it down. It's going to be a swing map just like our first game, but no reverse sweep here for either team. We're tied 1 apiece. This control is going to determine who takes the lead back. Stay tuned. We're going to head to a quick break for some commercials. The CCL Alpha Stream will be back after. A little bit of a short break, but we are back with Purdue Gold. SIUE Red tied 1 apiece. Heading into this Garrison control, it's going to be a huge swing map. Let's talk about Garrison.
So, I mean, going into this one, Purdue Gold, 4-1 on Garrison control. SIUE Red only 1-0, so only 1 rep on this map, but it was a 3-0 win. So I would assume they're still very well practiced on this. Like we were talking about going into the break, this could honestly tell the tape for the entire series with how strong both these two teams are at a particular game mode. If SIUE Red, they win this map, they are guaranteed that 3rd Search and Destroy, which they are very good at. But I mean, if you're the side of Purdue Gold, if you win this control on Garrison and you go to the next hard point, you could very well close this out in 4.
And you're looking at basically the players of Purdue Gold, you know, not as highly slay powered as SIUE in a game like Control. You know, most of them rocking around a 1.5 KD for Control. I mean, you gotta stick with that consistency. You got to understand that maybe you're not going to go pound for pound with these guns, but you play your lives, you play more towards the objective, shut it down, and go for those full wipes to make it like to kind of run down this time. Purdue Gold can sneak this one away because it's not all about the kills when it comes to Control. There's so many different ways to win it. You can look at that time, look at the OBJ. It doesn't just have to be on the slang, and that's not the case so much for SIUE Red. You're looking at this roster, all 4 players comfortable for slaying. I mean, we just saw D-Day go, 13-2 in a Search and Destroy. I'm sure he's going to be feeling comfortable with his gun skill on that Craig. And I mean, the Craig not as good on Garrison, but still can do the duty, still can shut these down at full white Purdue Gold. So on either side, I'm just looking at them to play in their kind of advantages. Purdue Gold, play for the OBJ, SIUE Red, just try to bully your way on.
And I mean, like you were saying, yes, the AR might not be as powerful of a thing on this map.
Yeah.
But I think that if you have good ARs, it can absolutely control the pace of a Garrison control because
without a doubt.
Because you need to be able to have those lockdown ARs that are sitting in the back of lights, watching over that middle of the map, and then even pushing in towards that A site, up that very tough site to break on. If you've got a great AR set up on that green box on that satellite, it makes it so tough to be able to break on in.
And this is really setting up a big storyline because I have Tragic and Mythic as my players to watch for each team. You know, Tragic on Purdue Gold, the 74U player. SIUE Red has Mythic, also a 74U player. And This is Garrison control, where those submachine guns are going to be, they have quite the toll to take on this game. As you say that the pace can be driven by those assault rifles. Well, that pace is going to be broken through by these 74U players just kind of rushing these sites, finding their angles, heading in every nook and cranny. And let me tell you, Garrison is full of nooks and crannies.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we're going to see most of these teams try to push on towards B off the rip and just really try to lock down that site. And I think what we've seen a lot more often in especially the CDL is that once these teams are locking down that first site quite easily, you see them try to push on through those bricks, and that's really where you're gonna see those SMG players really come to tuition. They need to be able to win those big gunfights back brick to make the players on the defense spawn out towards the bottom left side of the mini map to really just get a large control. Because if you get one wipe over towards that satellite, you can absolutely get that A site.
Definitely. I mean, it's a lot harder than the B side, but I mean, you're really counting on those players to take control of brick, get in behind, and set up a pinch because flooding right through green isn't the most suitable factor for taking control of radar. So you are definitely looking at those pinch after the B side comes through, and I'm going to be watching for those submachine gun players to do exactly that. Make that pinch and allow those assault rifles to set up through green, kind of have a little bit easier of a flood through that green control room. And it's really going to be difficult for these attacks as Garrison more a defender-sided kind of centralized control map, but it's doable. We've seen it happen in the CDL. We've seen it happen in the CCL. Both of these teams very highly ranked in the top 25. You know, Purdue Gold sitting at the number 17 spot, SIUE Red number 15. Anything's possible on this Garrison control as both of these teams can come out with a victory.
And like you said, banger of a series all day long is what we have on Alpha here. And this series is living up to the hype. Already into map number 3. Again, it's going to be Purdue Gold in the yellow, SIUE Red in the white on your screen. It's just tragic, really, just trying to bounce around middle of the map, buying time for his team, and it's already Purdue Gold onto the B site. They're going to have 2 players stacking it. And I mean, I would imagine they're able to get first tick in at least.
Well, let's see. Sauce.
Buzz.
He's going to nade it off, and Buzz actually goes down. So, yeah, that is the first tick of progression. Moving to take control of light. Sauce hasn't found too much pushback, but a lot of progression here. 3 players out on that, gaining as much control as you can. Purdue Gold almost actually having it given up on them, but 3 players are wiped. You see the comeback from SIUE Red, and they take the Tragic off of this. They wipe B. They don't lose it just yet. And now Mythic pushing for some extra cheese. Benji slides through. Not going to let him have it. And a big win there for Purdue Gold.
That was really, really close. I was almost really, really mad with SIUE there. I thought they should have given that up a little bit earlier. But, I mean, that's why they're players and I'm just here casting because D-Day was able to push on in and stop that there just in the nick of time, shut it down. But now you're going to see the players on the side of Purdue trying to push on in towards this A site, but it's Mythic there. He's able to shut down that first push, shuts down Sauce as well, so no A push coming in, but B site should be finished up here for the side of Purdue Gold.
Just finesse them off that A site. He makes his way into green now. It's just another route for them to worry about. And actually, I don't think I've noticed just yet, but there is a player, Plasmid. Oh, he's running the QBZ. I thought he was running the FFAR, what I saw, but that is the QBZ. I was gonna be shocked. I did D-Day's using the FFAR. Oh,
no D-Day.
This
okay.
is a treat.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen the FFAR kind of get picked up a little bit more in like scrims and stuff. I have seen some pros trying it out, so maybe he's just quite comfortable with that map, with that gun on this map. And I mean, I could see why that gun would be a viable gun on a map like Garrison. It's good at long range, decent at mid range. So, I mean, hey, good for him trying out something new. And it looks like we're seeing this push come in from the side of Purdue Gold that I was asking to see from before. All the players now trying to make the big long push in through the back. They're able to find 2 kills. If they can clear this site out, there should be some early time here onto A, so it's going to be tragic. He finds the last one, but he's just going to have to try to play for these players coming off spawn now.
It took way too long, and those players fighting on point, there was a trade on the A site, so that took way too long just to touch down on there, and those were big trades for the side of SIUE Red. Now Sauce finally touching down, stops the clock, but two kills for Plasmid. They're going to flood on through, look to clear out. Sauce, too many angles to watch for. D-Day is going to clear it, even finding a second one on a Tragic. Now you're down to 15 seconds, only 2 lives for SIUE Red, but Purdue has to make quite the trek If you wipe them off this first hill, this is going to be good. And I don't think that's going to be the case here. Plasma, the last one up. The clock is stopped. And Purdue Gold are going to take that first attacking round.
I kind of lost what was going on there. Did they run out of lives at the end of that, or
they did?
Yeah. So Purdue Gold won that off of lives. I honestly was not paying attention to lives at all. There was so much action going on screen, but great first round there from Purdue Gold.
Snuck under our noses there.
Yeah, it really did. Like 50 seconds left in that. I swear it was like 12-12 life count. So I was...
At the end of it, a 3 life difference for Purdue Gold. That's close to the wire as you could ask for, but the trade's just favoring that. And attacking round 2, that is an excellent start to this round for Purdue Gold, as usually you're counting on those defensive wins, and SIUE now have to win an attacking round to take this control.
Absolutely, they do. Already started off going towards this B site as per usual. But Tragic is doing a great job towards the top of this bridge, finding kills. He's able to find one before getting traded out by a teammate, unfortunately for him. But look at VT. He's just pushing all the way up, trying to get in position. He falls too. So now this opens up a chance for SIUE to make a pinch in onto the hill. D-Day is able to find one. Mystic finds the second, so they should get a 3-stack here onto the hill.
That's big kills from the back line. You know, not allowing those players to seep through the spawns and allow some chaos on Purdue. Now Vanish Tom around the corner of the line. He's going to slide on through. Tragic goes down to D-Day, but now he has to worry about this player. Throws the Semtex. The Flood comes out. The Cavalry's here. Big wipe from SIUE. They're going to capture this B site, and they have A site unlocked too, like you're saying. Now this is big for SIUE Red. You got to see Purdue kind of put the pedal to the metal. I'm
really interested to see how player 6 plays this. So he's going to try to play it through bricks. He's not going to be able to find any, but what that does is it slows down Purdue from being able to make the push on towards this hill. Buzz drops from over top. Only one player really from Purdue that's really close to the hill right now. That's Sauce, but D-Day with that FFAR finds streaks for a second map in a row.
You don't expect the FFAR to beam like this, but D-Day making it look easy. Gets to takes a progression, working on the third. Finally, Purdue wipes them, but you have to worry about Buzz in that back line. So big kill onto Buzz. Tragic's going to find that. Solidifies a little bit of a stability for Purdue Gold, but they're down 7 lives. So if you're SIUE Red, you really just have to group together and make one big push.
And I think if you're SIUE, you just need to slow down right here and just try to make a push in together. You have so much time because of the way that they strung that first hill and the second hill together. What it does is it really just, they never really had the clock running that whole time. They got wiped for the first time in this round and still had 1:45 left on the clock. That's a huge amount of time in control. As you were talking about the lives before, though, it looks like Purdue Gold is finally starting to get their feet set in this round here, and they're able to pick up a couple kills, bring us back to around a 4-man life advantage only, and it's Benji underneath just trying to create some havoc.
This is just perfect from Purdue. Once you get that first wipe, it's so hard to take this A site. You're just throwing away lives right now. Benji setting up camp along the tank zone of 5 spree. Playing for strikes. Noticeably valuing his life, which I like to see here because these strikes would be so big to allow for a 3-0. But Buzz shuts it down. Still haven't been able to touch down on the site though, Cruz. This is tough, and this is what we're talking about. A is just so hard to break through if you don't make that transition from B to A successful.
They have a really good chance to be able to push out through green right now. Those streaks are going to come in too, and that's going to push them in. How are you not watching? Oh my god, that is not the play that you wanted to see. And Vanish is able to push on in and grab 2. That's about worst case scenario while trying to use a streak. Not only does the streak not really come to fruition, but they shut it down. Your push after it as well. Oh my god. What that push does is it makes all the players come inside, but nobody's watching it.
SIUE Red threw that away. I mean, you had a 7 life advantage.
And streaks.
And streaks. You just had to group up as 4, wipe Benji, and then take it from there. But you just allowed Benji to get too much, and then taking his place, Vanish Tom, that slide into top green. Beautiful timing. Has to be watched by Plasma. Very unfortunate for SIUE Red. It's just those. That's some changes you have to look for.
Oh, that is a round that SIUE Red did not have like the ability to be able to throw away, because now you're going to find yourself down 0-2, and you're going to have to reverse this control to come back in. And really, like we said, this is the swing map of the series. They gotta win this map. It's absolutely so important for them. And oh no, that's a 2 down already to start off for Purdue Gold as they look to push on towards this next site.
Especially with Purdue looking so good in the hard point. You were hoping to take this control map. Benji, though, with that last wipe, and now it's time to get some progression. Looks like they have 3 players set up on it. No, number 3 is going to just look to push these routes. A big kill from D-Day to slow down this progression. Only 1 tick so far, and they should stop the clock. So they do. Nice win from Tragic to watch over this. The swing is right into the hands of Benji. So Sauce still gaining this progression on the brink of the second third for this B site. Progression comes through. He's going to hop on, play his life.
But they're on A. They might get a tick on A by himself. Yep. All by himself, Vanished Tom. Big chilling over there. He's able to get a first tick in, and that, I mean, that's huge. That's already 1 tick over there. Lifes, though, around even 24-23 for Purdue Gold. But, I mean, they did really just... They don't have a lot of map positioning right now. Maybe you have player 3 pushed up, and they've got a player onto this B site, but once they lose this B, or once they finish off this B site, it feels like all of SIUE Red is ready for them on A. But oh my God, SIUE is able to push on through to shut them down on that site as well.
Buzz looking for a little bit more. Heads up play from Benji to anticipate that aggression. The only player here to stop this. Benji's gonna put him down now. B site on the brink of being capped here. You've thrown away quite a bit of lives on B. SIUE Red shouldn't look to dedicate anything else. They just have to put their hopes now on A, but Vanish Tom and Tragic are here now, and they're looking to work on the second. B site gets captured. You're up to 1 minute and 40. You have the life advantage of 2, and still SIUE Red haven't touched down. Every single trade here just favoring Purdue Golden. Buzz going down. That is going to be a hard one now. You have to make the race back to this point.
I don't think it's really possible. D-Day shoots the streaks in, not finding anything with the streaks. What he's hoping for there is maybe it might slow down the side of SIUE Red. They gotta get in, they gotta touch the hill, otherwise they're gonna go down 2-1 in this series. They get in, they get the contest. The kills go down back and forth, and it's just not enough. Purdue Gold close it out here with a 3-0 fashion in the control.
That is heartbreaking. That second round should have gone to SIUE Red, and it would have been a very different round. And there was some streaks used. Once again, a big misuse from D-Day. Not what he wanted. Yeah, you slowed it down, but didn't really take any progression from that slow pace that they gained. So Purdue Gold did an excellent job at slaying their lanes, valuing their lives, and making sure that SIUE Red were having trouble stepping onto the points.
And I think we gotta just, like you said, look back at that second round as the round that really threw for SIUE here. Absolutely a round that they could have won. Like I was trying to make a play call on during it. I don't know if I really fully got it off, but what they were trying to do is they were trying to use the streak to open up the site, to push the players out and into top green. I guess they didn't realize that there was only one player there. And they were very concerned about players coming up from behind them underneath green, and that was not the case. The one player that was, and it was Vanish Tom, I believe, right? Who was able to slide on out and find 2 in the top.
Yeah.
And it just completely slowed down and shut that round down for SIUE Red. And it's very unfortunate because that absolutely could have been a round they won. But I mean, when you lose two defenses on Garrison, I mean, I'd feel like you don't really deserve to win the map in the first place.
I agree with that. I mean, defense is just something you have to have on lock for Garrison. As defense is just the winning factor for Garrison Control. I mean, the attacks are hard to win at first, and I noticed Purdue, with how successful they were off that first round, you know, it going to a 3 life kind of advantage in that sense. It's very difficult to kind of fight back from losing an attack. It almost puts you in that situation where you have to win an attacking round, and having the trouble that we see from SIUE Red, just kind of throwing their lives out there, dedicating a little bit too much to that B site. For when they swapped over to A, they had to just kind of rush back into their positionings. They had to kind of stagger out just to get back to where they wanted. Purdue Gold they played that exactly how they needed to. They played in their comfortable positions. They made sure that SIUE was never comfortable on that control map. And now you're moving into Moscow Hardpoint. You've won a hard point already this game, and your response have just looked phenomenal. Purdue Gold poised to take this series in 4.
Yeah, I feel like Purdue Gold is going into this next hardpoint feeling very comfortable. They are 2-0 on Moscow hardpoint. SIUE Red 1-1, a loss to Illini Blue. So I mean, a very good team to lose to at the very least. But I mean, like we were saying, Purdue Gold has just looked dominant right now in the respawns.
I have to say, man, I mean, Purdue Gold back-to-back games on the stream, and this team is making me excited for the rest of this
Oh
broadcast.
man, I don't want to look forward too far, but man, I'm tingling thinking about that Illini Orange matchup.
Ooh. I mean, SIUE Red, they still have a chance here. They're not out of it. I mean, you look at Moscow Hardpoint, plays a lot different from Checkmate Hardpoint. You're a lot more kind of moving on those rotations and making sure you're locking down spawns. I mean, that initial time, if you get those point 0.2 spawns in your favor, you need those. I mean, that point 0.2 to point 0.3, they're two money hills that usually go split in favor of each team. So you're really hoping that if you're SIUE Red, early on, you lock down one of those money hills because you don't want to lose 2 in a row. And that was happening a lot on Checkmate. They lost a little bit too much early on, and just those spawns weren't really favoring them.
Yeah, absolutely. It really felt like that's what kind of lost them that checkmate was they weren't able, at least through the first 3 hills, it felt like they weren't ever able to get full control of spawns that they wanted to. Maybe through the first rotation on P4 and 5, they were able to get it, but it just wasn't enough. And if you're SIUE Red here, you got to make sure coming into this Moscow, your rotations are on point. Like you said, that P2 to P3 can be game breaking. If you can string those 2 hills together somehow, it is absolutely unreal. You can find yourself up 80 points at the end of the first rotation.
We are moving into this hard point. These teams getting ready to hop into it. Now, Moscow hard point, what players do you need to see on SIUE Red to kind of pull this one back?
I mean, for SIUE Red, I think I'm really just it's going to sound bad, but I'm really looking at D-Day still. D-Day has been the player for SIUE in these games. He has been popping off streaks in back-to-back maps. If they are going to win this map 4, he needs to do it again. He needs to I don't think he needs to get streaks, but he at least needs to be playing up to the level of skill that we've seen him playing at today.
Even with that FFAR, I mean, how many times are you going to see an FFAR these days? He
That's
comes out
wild.
to it
That's so
and he has
true.
a game like that. D-Day just He's looking good. He's looking good out here. And I do agree with you. He has to keep that up. I mean, he's looking to keep the morale high for his team into this Moscow hardpoint. When Purdue Gold, they just shut down everything. You have to go into this with confidence. And I'm looking for that early game. Like I was talking about those spawns for point 0.2 early. If you have them, you have to hold them down. And if they can lock down those point 0.2 spawns, gain some momentum early in this game, you saw what they were able to do in that raid search and destroy. I mean, D-Day was 13-2. If he keeps that confidence that he had in the search into the hard point and that slaying potential that he has, he very well can just keep SIUE Red in this, keep the morale up, and maybe even sneak a respawn out from under this Purdue Gold team.
It's absolutely going to have to be a respawn snuck out for them now. And it sounds like we're getting ready to load on into Moscow hardpoint. I mean, just from this right now, watching this, I'm really seeing why Purdue Gold is a really top team out of this right now. They have looked so good tonight.
You look, SIUE Red's actually ahead of them in the top 25.
Yeah,
I
that might
wouldn't have
change
guessed.
after this week.
I would not have guessed in seeing this. I mean, SIUE Red, their research and destroys look phenomenal. I mean, they look really good, but they have some stuff to work on in their respawns. Obviously, losing out on a Garrison Control 3-0, maybe not your favorite. Maybe that was you're probably looking at the vetoes, and I'm sure that Purdue Gold looked ahead in this and vetoed out SIUE's favorable control map to go into that Garrison and just have a little bit of advantage. You know, Purdue Gold looked a lot more practiced on the map like Garrison, but now you're moving into Moscow, the later end of the series. This is where we saw in our first series of the night over E4 Knights at Bama College, the kind of or Bama Crimson to like they pulled it back. They started finding their footing, and it was really this point, this game 4 that differentiated the two players. I mean, they lost the first hard point, but they were able to find the second hard point. Maybe you can kind of bank that off the fact that there was a fourth player out of it, but SIUE Red, they have to. I mean, it's do or die once again.
I think one thing that we haven't really fully touched on either is this is actually a really big match for SIUE Red as well. If they win this match, it's going to put them at 5-1, and it's just going to help solidify their spot in a top 4 position, which they're already in at the moment. It looks like we have run into a little bit of some lobby issues here, guys. So we're gonna throw us to a quick little break here while we get ready to load up into map number 4. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with some more.
Hey guys, I'm sure you missed us, but we are back. There's a little bit of short, and these teams looks like they swapped sides over here. So colors are once again going to be flipped, and maybe that's the story. You know, last time we saw a hard point, the colors were flipped in hard point number 2, and that's where we saw the team fighting from behind kind of pull this one out. But already a flurry of kills favoring Purdue Gold as Benji breaks open with 2.
Oh damn! I don't want to say it, but you might be looking a little bit deep into that one. But we'll try to keep that one on. Try to keep that one in the back of our minds here as we head on in, because oh my God, Purdue Gold have been off to a great start here. Already up 20 seconds. They've got spawns. Look how deep SIUE Red is spawning away from this next hill.
Just look at the positioning you have.
Benji.
You have a player set up in escalators, a player on point, and a player over on statue, and that is just providing that spawn for SIUE to be all the way back point 3. And now it's going to be so long just to touch down on point number 2. You got to rely on Buzz, or you got to rely on player number 5, Buzz, to kind of break on through. He goes down. Now Purdue Gold guaranteed probably 10 seconds before this attack comes on through, and slaying around. Purdue just looking solid. Benji is 7-1 to start this off. And he is on the front line here. Gets cleaned up by Buzz, so a little bit of time off the field. SIUE Red puts a little bit of a damper on this. Even still, Purdue with a strong start.
Yeah, I don't really know how I feel about that. It felt like Purdue Gold kind of just put way too much attention towards that bottom boulevard. I guess they really were trying to keep the spawns. They do finally clean out their base, though, because while they're putting that pressure on, 2 players pushed in from the side of SIUE through the middle of the map, and oh my God, we already start to see this rotation coming on in from player number 4. That's Sauce. He could very heavily impact these spawns. Luckily for the side of SIUE, Mystic is able to find him there. They should have a setup here on P3.
He could, but he didn't. Now it's Vanish Tom's turn. Tragic working the opposite side of the map. Tom gets a big first kill. Buzz goes down. Now it's his turn to work these spawns. Mythic, this is going to be a tough gunfight. Not expecting the swing. It's going to provide SIUE Red with the initial time. Nobody on it just yet to soak this up. They have to worry about Tragic inside elbow, and that's going to be Buzz cleaning him up. Now you need a player to step on this. I mean, Purdue Gold are slaying around them. Nobody has touched down on this. So this is free time that SIUE Red are giving up.
And it's very weird to see, too, because Purdue Gold is spawning out so far, but Tragic over the top finds 3 kills with the Krig in hand. And, I mean, we kind of touched on it earlier, but this map, very, very much so, can be a very AR-heavy map. They're going to get the scrap 20 here as well. You're going to see the side of SIUE Red try to set up for this P4 hill, but with already 1 player falling, oh, man, this is looking like a very strong map for Purdue Gold here through the first 3.
You want what D-Day had for breakfast? I want what Tragic had for breakfast. See, he is absolutely shooting beams across map. Now, Vanish Tom working from bank. D-Day around the corner. Has the back from Tragic. Big bait and switch. Tragic on a 5 spree now. Working for streaks. Has Tom raised next to him. Big nade to give him to 6. And he is on path for this cruise missile. Already found the artillery strike. The site. Nobody's gaining time right yet. That's going to be the cruise missile. Just Tragic is just providing so much for right now.
Can I change what I want for breakfast, too? Because you're not wrong. Tragic is shooting beams across the map right now. No way. Oh, okay. I was about to say, no way he picks up that kill
He's
on
so
a buzz.
confident right now.
He is shooting anything he sees. Purdue Gold is almost at a 100-point lead right now as they just continue to run up the time here. The Vanish Tom pushing through. He's got the spawns now for the side of Purdue Gold for this next hill as well. Actually, one of them is going to spawn out, but as soon as this next hill pops, he's going to be the player on the side for Purdue Gold that has the spawns that they need. See, here we go. Now players are going to start to spawn up on them. Player 3 is going to be able to set up a little bit of a pinch, so they might even be able to pinch on and get some early time here on this hill as well.
This is a must for SIUE Red right now. They have to push through. They have to take these spawns for point 2, which they do, but they have to hold on to them now and lock together some time on point 1. So right now, finding some success, but a big play on the BS and deep point. Sauce finding a big one. Train's just favoring SIUE Red right now, staying alive in this, and if they can connect the point 1 to point 2 in time, they might be right back in this.
Well, this is what we saw Purdue Gold do in the first round through. They have them spawning out very, very deep, and they got a significant amount of time here on this first hill. So now we'll see if they're able to hold on the exact way that SIUE did, or sorry, that Purdue Gold did in the first round, because Purdue Gold put up almost a full 60 here on this PU2.
Well, first set of rotation, heavily won by Purdue. SIUE Red fighting back phenomenally in the second time around. Mythic rotates around, spots some players, keeping his attention to the shooting phase. Purdue taking their time and honestly flooding in with positioning, favoring SIUE Red, expecting the flood, and every single player on Purdue, they fall. Benji's the last one here. And with 36 seconds left, you are going to be playing to kind of take these players off the site, but you might want to look to hold on to point 3 spawns because I think this is over right now for Purdue on point 2. You got to worry about this rotation.
And at the end of this, it should be virtually a tie game heading into the next set. Oh, very interesting. Player 2 is actually going to spawn out towards P1 because they pushed out so far. That back spawn opened up, and because P1 is still because P2 is so active, he's going to spawn back there, and the rest of his team is going to end up spawning onto him. So it's really only Sauce here for the side of SIUE. This could be a huge turn in terms of just SIUE being able to string these two hills together.
Well, SIUE right back into this game now, as they had a big deficit after the first set of rotations, but Sauce holding off on enough time, and SIUE Red, I don't know what they were doing with that rotation. Put a little bit too much emphasis on finding Sauce when, in fact, they should have been kind of looking at the point because that's where he was standing, and now they've given up this point. Purdue Gold fighting from the front, getting a ton of time here and just breaking their lead even farther. Finally get some fight back from SIUE Red, string together 2 kills, take the time off this hard point, but on the final streak is going to be used from Tragic. He does find a kill, and this is going to be big now. SIUE Red limiting the time or had their time limited from Purdue Gold, and now Purdue looking for this point 4.
I mean, yeah, he finds one with that streak, but I feel like maybe not totally worth it. They need to really make sure they pick up these kills here, and they do. So Purdue Gold, at the very least, are going to be set up here for this next hill, and they are spawning out SIUE as far as they can possibly spawn them. They're basically spawning them in where P2's hill is, towards that bank. And now if you're Tragic, you're really just trying to watch over this spawn again. He did such a great job the first time through on this hill. He went on an 8 streak, and we'll see if he's able to do it again here.
Finds Buzz. Sauce off this window, but cleaned up from Mythic making that rotation. Oh my God. Tragic still watching an absolute turret. This guy is not missing right now. 22 and 13 on a 5 streak. You called it last time he was on a 10 streak when this point was done. Looking to do the exact same thing. He's taking a lot of damage, but in return, providing less time for SIUE Red than they want, and it just snaps on a D-Day here. This game was tied, but Purdue just barely holding on to the lead now.
He's trying to get these shots on a Plasmid. He does.
Is he gonna find streaks again? He's 1 kill away from this.
He's definitely looking like it. I thought that he was going to get it on that 7th kill there, but not the case. Does not matter. 8th kill comes on through. He finds it there. Not able to get that, but still, once again, those streaks are going to open up so much for you on the map. See if he maybe is able to use them to a little bit better than we were in the first set. And it looks like player number one of the players on the side of SIUE is going to fall out of the map.
Purdue?
Oh, maybe.
Hello? What's happened to these players? We got a 2-on-3, ladies and gentlemen.
This is very
Tragic
weird.
fighting from statue. Buzz goes down, but SIUE picking up a ton of time here as servers not in favor of these teams that are leading early. Now Tragic gonna force his way on a site, hold on to this lead, and look at transition to this point number 2. Not missing either, and luckily Tragic is still in this because this guy is absolutely holding his team on his back right now.
Both players are watching the same thing. This is something that's going to be a little bit weird for us to cast, but it's going to be a 2v3 for the rest of the game because I'm pretty sure CCL rules are that if the first set of rotations is played, they don't replay after. So
you have your 2 highest slayers too, Benji and Tragic here, and a lead to start this one off. SIUE Red, if you want to take this, just play the numbers advantage. Make sure you play these trades. But when you have Tragic, are you even worried about these trades? He dedicates the streaks to make sure he wipes them. D-Day gets a big spawn back point too. But this is time that SIUE Red is not gaining. I don't know if they're going to be aware of D-Day. They get on the site finally. D-Day lets himself be known.
205, 205. This is nuts. And nobody's on the hill. This could there's a very good chance that this could end up going to the game clock as well, with how little both these two teams are really playing on the hill. Both teams are fighting for that scrap time there. It should be D-Day who's able to soak up these last 10 seconds, so the lead will be going in the way of SIUE
rotation
here. You hate to see it, man. This is so tough for Purdue Gold.
It's tough, but like I said, if you want 2 players to make it happen, Benji and Tragic. Look at the Tragic spawns all the way back library. Now you can get this pinch. D-Day gets a big win, but there's the trade. In turn, let's see where Benji spawns out. He's going to actually spawn point 2, so Tragic right now in a big 1-on-3. Got 229, make it 230 as still got 40 seconds to win this one out. Just got to watch over to Escalators Mythic with the backup. I don't know if Purdue can touch down on this. Only need 10 seconds left. This is a lot to ask for these 2 players. I know they can do it, but when you just have the numbers advantage in Cold War, it means a lot more, and they sail away. It's not going to be Purdue Gold taking this one. SIUE with a favorable life advantage. They're going to send us to a map 5.
I'm just going to say it. You jinxed us. I think you cast your cursed us because you said something about the colors being flipped and the team coming back. Last time we had players drop. We had players drop again this game. I'm going to blame this one on you, Seymour. But, oh, my God.
Wow.
Oh, my God. We are going to another map 5.
Something about game 4s that the servers just don't like. And it's not just the colors, but I guess they're just players booting out of this lobby. Purdue Gold, unfortunately, are going to drop that game 4 when they're looking so solid. But SIUE, they're gifted with a game 5, and they are gifted with a search and destroy. They're looking forward to this one, but we are going to head to a quick break, get these players back, resolve the problems. Stay tuned for this map 5. What's going on? I have some good news for you guys. So it looks like we're gonna be replaying that game 4. You know, I was like, I would have been curious as to that, as to the ruling like for that. I mean, definitely calls for a game 4 replay, as it was like a 10-point game when that happened. It was as close as ever. So very unfortunate for what happened, but we're right back into Moscow, and we're not just gonna have a replay on this map, but color's gonna be back to normal too.
So maybe Purdue, they got their chance again to close this out in 4. And I mean, this is the right call. You definitely have to get a map replay in here. You can't lose 3 players and have like a 10-point game and not replay the map. So I think one thing we got to really look out for on this map, if we're going into it again, Tragic, this seems to be his home and native. He is very comfortable on this map, especially on that P4 Boulevard Hill.
Well, even Tragic and Benji there, they were in a 2-on-3 and they kept it fairly close. I mean, like
respectable for sure.
Respectably close for a 2-on-3, especially on Moscow, which the rotations just favor this team. And honestly, it goes to a 3v3, would probably be a lot closer of an outcome, but just that player advantage too strong. And this time around, SIUE Red, can they keep it up? Can they do it again with equal 4-on-4 standings?
I mean, like what happened through the first set, Purdue Gold, once again, have the spawns that you want to be holding on to start this game off. And it looks like so far so good for them. It looks very much so like the break off of the first game. They start to spawn out the players on SIUE Red, very deep back glass. And they just do a great job on this first hill with good side of just holding on to it. Missed it, so it's a nice big one in the middle of the map. But so far so good for the side of Purdue Gold.
Still have those 0.2 spawns, but a big 2-on-1 off screen. The trade should be there. Buzz does take out Vanish Tom. Now his route going to be for the BS&D. Another one-on-one off-screen. Buzz taking it again. These are some big kills towards SIUE Red, but not getting anything off of them. Point 2 spawn still in favor of Purdue Gold. They have a ton of time off point 1. This is just troubling for SIUE's Reds to start off.
And they're able to find the wipe there. So now all the players, barring player number 8, actually is able to get a very weird spawn in the back. No player was able to be pushed up far enough, so he's actually going to spawn up here, and we'll see if he can make a big play from behind. He's just trying to see if he can spot anybody out. He makes the call to his teammates. He's like, "Hey guys, I just got blessed to spawn. Let's all pitch on into the hill," and they're able to clear him on out. So SIUE with a very quick break here on the P2.
Sauce. Ah, wow, what a turn, Mythic. Gets burned there by Sauce. Not able to find anything more now. Tragic working the front line. The nade's going to be good for 1. What are you expecting? Benji on the flank. You're not, and that is a big break from Purdue. Almost a tie game for SIUE Red, but a fight back from the gold squad. And now it is going to give up point 3 spawns. Vanish Tom, what can he do on this rotation?
The first time we've seen these two teams play, it looked like we saw SIUE Red really control this P3 every single time. So I'm looking to see them do it again here. So far, so good. Most of that time from that P2 hill go towards the way of Purdue Gold. And now, I mean, SIUE Red, they got to just answer back with a great hold of their own.
D-Day, player that you called out to pop off. Watching these spawns. Working for a tie game here. Mythic gaining the OBJ. Spawning out the side of Purdue Gold. But number 3 gets that kill on the Buzz. Makes it a little bit desperate to kind of rotate around and hold these spawns right here. But Mythic doing a good job at locking down this time. He has to worry about the players through elbow. Has Buzz to back him up. Trash gives his information away. And that is going to be the collapse for SIUE Red. Tie game, 59-59, 20. And Purdue Gold are going to be looking for these point 4 rotations.
Yeah, I called it out. I said they needed to make a big hold there. They answer with a big hold of their own. They're easily going to get 40, maybe even 50 seconds out of that hold. And they have the rotation now set up towards this P4 hill, this bottom Boulevard Street. We'll have to see what they're able to do. But, I mean, these 3 players in gold, you would imagine they're going to be able to trade out Mystic quite quickly and just hold on to these spawns. A little bit of a split spawn, though, coming in for the side of SIUE. You have player 6 towards this back street. He might be able to make a play on the flank here.
Vanish Tom cleaned up from behind. This is where Tragic shined last time around. Talking about him going on streaks after streaks for this point 4. Different story this time around. A lot closer of a hard point shot punch in favor of Mythic as Sauce tried to make the magic. SIUE Red spawning Purdue Gold all the way back bank. This rotation from point 4 to point 1. This is where we saw SIUE Red start to gain their traction, start to gain some momentum back into this. And if they can do the exact same thing and spawn Purdue Gold out the second rotation around, we might see SIUE Red have a lot better of a Moscow hardpoint here.
So we've now seen the side of SIUE Red string P3 and 4 together, and now they're even going to be able to string it into P1 here. But Purdue Gold, even without spawns, have kept this to at least a 10-point game. That's something you'd like to see. But if you're a Purdue Gold fan, you absolutely want to see these guys start to get some time and maybe like start to win some of these rotations now, because it feels like they're losing all of them.
Well, big slang from Purdue Gold is going to bring them back into this first hardpoint. Only down by 10 now. Sauce is going to push this lane over half wall. Mythic watching the rotation. Is he going to anticipate this? Bad timing for himself, and it's not even going to be Sauce. Tragic getting cleaned up by Mythic across map, and Purdue still holding on to this first hard point, spawning SIUE out on both sides of the map. This is very strong positioning from Purdue Golden. If they can spawn out SIUE Red a lot more, it's going to force them to kind of tie up this point, keep it consistent, and almost fight back for this point too. Try to locate these spawns and take them as a full 4.
This is where we have seen Purdue Gold get most of their time on both runs through of this map. This P2 hill has been so good for them. Unfortunately for them, one of their players, Benji, is going to spawn out deep, but he's able to actually find 2 through mid, finding them through, and he's puts the shutdown. Make it 3 through mid now. He's going off. He has streaks too. I don't even know when he picked those streaks up. Make it 4 in a row again for him here. He is just absolutely running rampant through middle of the map. Nobody on the side of SIUE can get close to the map because they got to go through D-Day. Or sorry, they got to go through Benji first.
Well, now's your time. They get a player to touch down Buzz though. Too much to deal with. So many angles to watch for. They break through. 25 seconds of scraps here. Blackman can't get past Sauce. Sauce doing the deed. Sauce always wants the Diamante. And he locks it down. And actually, that's very lucky for SIUE Red because now you're back on the third hard point. And this is where you combined a lot of points last time around.
This is where Purdue Gold needs to be better. They have not won a rotation towards Library yet. You have VT in the back. Let's see if he can find any more back here. He was able to get one, but no players spawning on him. This is what we saw Purdue Gold do in the first game, first set through. They were able to battle this from the front, but player number 8 on a huge flank coming in from behind.
Oh, Mythic, though, not counting for that player on steps. A big corner for Purdue Gold. Now, Library spawn still in favor of SIUE. 40 seconds of contention for these spots. Tragic dancing. Whoa, this guy's got his dancing shoes on as he makes his way around and the cavalry comes in. 30 seconds of scrap here and spawning point 1. You're going to have to look for this point 4 to make a considerable comeback.
SIUE now in this situation we saw Purdue Gold in that first set of rotations. They need to make a choice here to either hit for scrap or push towards for this P4 hill. And it looks like they were going to try to make a push towards P4, but one player already falling. You have Sauce now set up inside the bus. This is just going to be a huge 3-on-3 for the hill.
2, though. Mythic already in the back. A big wipe for SIUE Red. This is a must-win hill.
They have to recognize these spawns, though.
Yeah, look at that. And they don't right away, but now they're going to definitely know 2 players in gold, and they had to worry about the jump up. They have the time here. Plasma gets cleaned up, so the point's not occupied right now, and they're losing some precious comeback time right now. D-Day for 2. Buzz pops out gold. Big kill into Benji.
I think he was calling streaks in.
I think
or
he was
trying
as
to.
well.
Yeah,
Streaks
so
are gonna
you can
come
hear
in.
the artillery now starting to make its way in. This at least going to get the side of SIUE off the hill for the time being, but very quickly gets contested back. These last 20 seconds or so, though, should go to the way of Purdue Gold. It's going to put them at around 225 here, while SIUE is still sitting at around that 150 mark. But SIUE, once again, though, should have a good setup here for this P1 hill. And at the moment, they are in control of the right side of the minimap for P2.
But they split P4 20-10. That's a big win for Purdue. I mean, you stopped them from getting a considerable amount of points, and now you're contesting the first point, and this is where you've seen some trouble for SIUE last time around. Right now, having a strong start. 3 go down. Have to worry about Benji. Been going off all day long. No streaks this time around. He did use them. Gets cleaned up. SIUE Red looking to soak up the rest of this time now. 40 seconds.
Benji just did such a great job of just finessing a little bit of time there to make it so that the side of Purdue Gold, or sorry, that the side of SIUE Red couldn't get any time on that. D-Day's going to drop in the middle of the map. That's 3 down. Mystic asked to go absolutely huge to keep the spawns in the favor of Purdue Gold, and it's not going to be the case. And now Purdue Gold have a chance to go up big middle map. They have the spawns for what has been their best hill. Purdue Gold, you have every chance to win this game right now. SIUE, you gotta break fast.
I mean, it's must. It is a must. But you have to get through Sauce first and Benji, who are holding a crossfire. Mythic, BS&D, big one-on-one, and Sauce just dancing with death. Finally takes down Mythic. 3 go down, and you're 20 seconds away from winning this game in 4. Benji's gonna be watching screens. D-Day right to his right. You got 2 players watching it, laying prone and wake. There's no way you win that. Down to 7 seconds to win it. Tragic for 3. All 4 go down. Purdue Gold are going to take this series in 4. They might have lost it the first time, but you run it back on a 4-4 standard, and Purdue are going to take this all day.
Purdue dominated P2 every rotation in out of both games that we just seen them play. If you're SIUE, you absolutely, if you're going to keep playing Moscow Hardpoint, you need to get better at P2.
I mean, they looked good the first time around. The first set of rotations, it was what, 79-79 at one point. They looked strong. It was when you got to that point 4, rotating into the point 1, the second set of rotations, Purdue just turned on the lights. They flipped a switch, and they were out for blood.
Strong showing from Purdue Gold here. And I mean, you got to think this is going to impact our power rankings here. SIUE came in with a higher power ranking. And so at this point, you got to think Purdue Gold at least going to make a little bit of a swap with them out of that. And now if you're Purdue Gold, they just had to play a 5-game series, but only win it in 4. And now we're gonna have to see them once again. They got to go back, keep this wave of momentum they got right now, and roll it into this next match because we got them coming up against Illini Orange next.
Well, let me tell you, folks, this game for Purdue is only going to get tougher. You just took down the number 15 team when you're the number 17. Now you're going up against the number 7 team of Illini Orange. That's going to be coming up shortly, but for now, commercial break. Stay tuned for some more CCL action. The Alpha Stream down to its last match coming up soon.